strangers. They ain't talking about strangers. They're talking about family.
So you all been pretty tight all along.
You have to be. They don't care what color their slaves are. They don't care if they're black, if they're white. The slave's a slave to them. Work you till you die and then give you the bare minimum to exist until you are dead. And then who gives a damn, you know, when you're no longer useful.
So what do you reckon's going to be the end here? What's going to happen?
Right here, state police going to come take us to jail one of these days.
To understand the Pittston Coal Strike in 1989, you need to first understand the history of coal in Appalachia, a history of struggle, sacrifice, and a constant fight for respect. This isn't just a labor dispute. It's a story about people standing up to protect their families, their communities, and their future. It's about a fight for dignity in an industry that often saw its workers as little bit more than tools. We'll explore the gritty details of the Pittston Coal Strike, how it began, who was involved, and the lessons that can still be learned from one of the most intense labor struggles in American history. The story of Pittston is one of defiance, courage, and the very real consequences of a corporate system that puts profits over people. Coal has always been more than just an industry in Appalachia. It's been a way of life. For over a century, the men and women of this region have worked in the mines, pulling coal from the earth to power the nation. But working in the mines is a dangerous business, and the industry has long been shaped by harsh conditions, low wages, and high risks. By 1988, Pittston Coal was one of the largest coal companies in Appalachia. But rather than share the prosperity that coal mining had brought, they started looking for ways to cut costs, often at the expense of their workers. In 1988, the United Mine Workers of America was negotiating a new contract with Pittston. The company's proposal included severe cuts to the miners' wages, health benefits, and pensions.
I got a letter from Pittston that stated that as of February the 1st, 1988, health benefits that we are providing under this contract will no longer be provided. These issues will be taken up during the upcoming negotiations with the union.
The UMW of A had represented the coal miners in Appalachia for decades. They fought for better wages, safer working conditions, and benefits for the miners and their families. But Pittston's demands were a direct attack on everything that the union had fought for. In response, the union held a vote. Overwhelmingly, the miners voted to strike. In April of 1989, the strike began. The decision was clear. Pittston's treatment of the workers was unacceptable. The miners weren't just fighting for their paychecks. They were fighting to protect the rights that they had fought for decades to secure.
I got a hard, fast education about where our government is coming from. Why did they send in the state troopers? Why did they send in federal marshals? The state troopers pretty much stayed back away from us here. They didn't get involved too much here in West Virginia. But in Virginia, where you have right to work, they were terrible. They were awful. First time Bethel went down there, there was 500 state trooper cars parked there. They couldn't even find a place to stay overnight.
The strike didn't just hurt Pittston's bottom line, it hurt the communities around it as well. Tensions grew, and with them, violence flared.
Of Appalachian coal miners this week walked off their jobs. Wildcat strikes in support of 1,600 union miners who were locked in battle with the Pittston Coal Company.
Y'all under arrest.
So you're under arrest, you gonna get up? Lay it out, Eddie, hold it. Just set him up. You get it in the back, I'll get him up.
I guess when the company calls in the state police and everything, you know, you get the feeling that they're not here to protect us, really. They're here to protect the corporation.
Within a 40-mile radius around here, you couldn't get a motel because they were all filled up with state police and security people, advanced security.
All we had to do was look the wrong way and they would arrest us, take us to jail. Anything the company wanted, they were there to do.
At the picket lines, there were confrontations with security guards. There were arrests, injuries, and even shootings. The miners weren't just striking for better wages. They were striking for their survival. At the heart of the struggle was Richard Trumka, president of the UMWA. A miner himself, Trumka knew the hardships of the coalfields better than anyone. His leadership was vital in uniting the miners and giving them the strength to endure what was sure to be a long and difficult fight. As the months passed, the violence on the picket lines escalated. Media coverage painted the miners in various lights. Some saw them as heroes, fighting for fairness. Others saw them as violent troublemakers. But at the heart of it, this was a community fighting for its future. Miners from all across the country came to support the strike. Solidarity wasn't just a word. It wasn't just about Pittston anymore. It was about the entire coal industry and the working class as a whole. And the people who lived and worked in those hills knew they had to stand together to make their voices heard. After more than a year, in 1990, the strike finally came to an end. Pittston and the UMWA reached a settlement. While the miners didn't win everything they wanted, they did secure a victory.
We, the people that mine the coal, are as much a part of these mountains as the seams of coal that lie in them. We have always been accommodating, independent people, but we, like all others, will not tolerate abuse, whether corporate or government. We demand that we be treated with dignity and respect, and that justice be applied equally. Certainly not an unreasonable question in the land of our heritage.
The company agreed to reinstate some benefits and address certain worker safety concerns. More importantly, the strike proved that even in the face of overwhelming odds, workers could stand up and make their voices heard. Many miners went back to work, but the scars of the strike remained. Families had lost homes, miners had lost time and wages, but in the end, they preserved their dignity. The Pittston Coal Strike, though painful, marked a turning point in the struggle for labor rights in America. Its legacy lives on in the ongoing fight for workers' rights. The courage shown by those miners and their families serves as a reminder that even in the face of powerful corporations, the human spirit is resilient. It's a reminder that no matter how tough the fight, standing up for what's right is never a lost cause. The Pittston Coal Strike is a story that deserves to be remembered, not just for the victory, but for the lessons it holds. Workers' rights, fair wages, and dignity are not just ideals, they're battles worth fighting for. Thank you everybody for watching.